soon to be famous, top of the heap. Soon to be famous, my autograph's still cheap. Soon to be famous, you don't know me yet. I'm an up-and-coming superstar that you haven't met.
All right. Good afternoon out there. Welcome to Soon to Be Famous. I'm Dennis Stout.
And I'm Dave Allen.
We're Stout and Allen. And Soon to Be Famous is a musical variety show for those of you who haven't caught our show yet. And it's dedicated to bringing you some of the newest and upcoming talent here in the Southland.
That's right. You see, there's a veritable wealth of untapped talent in the Southland that we feel rivals the best of the famous names in the industry. And we're going to bring it to you.
Easy for you to say. That's right. First, we'd like to do a song by a real good friend of ours named John Penn, who we'd love to get on the show someday. We've done some of his songs in the past, and he's one of our favorite writers. This song is all about going home again. It's called Home. Well, when I was a child, I would wander away, for the thought of adventure was too much for me to stay. Some neighbor would take me from my careless track and kindly remind me of the right direction back. Home, home, home to the loved ones, always waiting there. Oh, going home to the family to show them that I care. Well, the days became too busy and the distance had worn down the ties to the family in the town where I was born. At night I'd think about them and the love they gave to me, and plan my reunion for the place I long to be. Home, home to the loved ones, always waiting there. To the family, show them that I care. Home, home to the loved ones, always waiting there. To the family, show them that I care. It was only an illusion, my reunion just a dream, for to break away from daily life is harder than it seems. And though their lives have ended and I'm truly on my own, I know there'll come a time we'll be together back at home. Home, home to the loved ones, always waiting there. Home, going home to the family, show them that I care. Okay, what are we going to do next?
Okay, next we're going to do a tune by a good friend of ours, Sherry Medic, who was on an earlier program, and this is one of my favorite songs that she's written. It was written, it's kind of half truth and half fiction, written about a friend of hers, and the story is of an old sea captain who died before his time and so had a lot of unfinished business, so he came back and possessed the body of a young man, and it's entitled The Ghost of Captain Jackson. When he was young, he had a face, and it would catch the ladies' eyes. But he never cared to notice, and he would blindly walk right by. 33, no children, no woman by his side. The ghost of the Captain Jackson took him for his soul and his strength and his pride. The Captain Jackson was a mighty sailing man and a building man besides, and you could tell by his upright stature that he'd worked at each with pride. He sailed the greatest clippers that ever the eye did see. And he knew every port on every coast by 1773. Captain Jackson had a destiny few men will ever realize, but he fell to the sea as a seaman should in a storm that came by night. He left unfinished business when at 70 he died. So he returned to take a mortal man to finish what he'd left behind. Now the blue-eyed soul the captain stole was as free as the ladies' sea. God and as wild and as unpredictable as only the sea can be. He worked with his hands and he lived alone, and oh, she tried to steal his heart. She failed most successfully. 'Twas fated from the start. Now the last time I saw he was sitting in a bar with the lady that he knew best. And through no fault of his own it was obvious 'twas he that she loved best. Now I did not take a learned man to see in the lady's eyes. It was the ghost of the Captain Jackson who had blessed her with a kiss of ice. Now I would have lit a candle and I would have prayed if I had believed. I preferred to let him go, salt his sail on the highest seas. And the fate of the young man who can guess he can no longer give. But it's the ghost of the Captain Jackson, and it's the only thing that lives. Now he was young, he had a face, and it would catch the ladies' eyes. But he never cared to notice, and he would blindly walk right by. 33, no children, and no woman by his side. The ghost of the Captain Jackson took him, poor soul, and his strength, and his pride.
Okay, the next song we'd like to do is a Chris Wall piece that we're kind of getting into a folksy thing this show, and I think that's hopefully that's going to be coming back. I'm predicting, and when it does, we're going to be ready. I tell you, because we got some friends who are writing some real fine folk songs. This one is a song called "The Little House That Lay Behind the Mansion on the Hill." Quite a long title. We abbreviate it to "The Little House." While driving through a neighborhood where I very rarely go, I took an old forgotten turn for reasons I don't know. Down a half-remembered road, wound around the trees, gone yellow with November, there I found my memories. The house, it was still standing there, old California style, with a fountain in the driveway by an old sundial. There was a saying etched upon the stone about the worth of time. I wish I'd paid attention then, but you were on my mind. There of all places, in a room above a garage, was my oasis. There I found love's sweet mirage. Now I find my eyes grow moist as I recall the thrills of that little house that lay behind the mansion on the hill. There was one porch light that showed so bright above your windowsill. just like a beacon in the night to guide me up that hill. Well, as a young man in a hurry, I was out to hold a dream. I can see your naked silhouette behind that front door screen, and the candle lights that made our shadows dance upon the wall, between your hanging planters and that poster by Chagall. But our love was like a cheap old print of a beautiful Van Gogh. By night it was a masterpiece, in the daytime lost its glow. There of all places, in a room above a garage, was my oasis. There I found love's sweet mirage. Now I find my eyes grow moist as I recall the thrills of that little house that lay behind the mansion on the hill. You were bound for Hollywood, and I flew off to France to write that book I knew I could, while people watched you dance. Well, it seems we set our different sights, as lovers often will, but I won't soon forget those nights I spent up on that hill. There of all places, in a room above a garage, was my oasis. There I found love's sweet mirage. And now I find my eyes grow moist as I recall the thrills of that little house that lay behind the mansion on the hill. Of that little house that lay behind the mansion on the hill. Hi, we're very fortunate this week to have as our soon-to-be famous guest artist, incredible songwriter and entertainer, one of my very special favorite performers, Mr. Dan Murphy.
Thank you, Dennis. Due to the time of year, and I don't know when this is going to be aired, but this is about, it's in December, Christmas is coming up, and I have decided to do the only Christmas song that I've ever written, which it's more of a modern Christmas song. Santa Claus, he ain't gonna come to town this year. He's gone into retirement, 'cause politics, governments, finances, and fear. You might say that old Santa's given Christmas up for Lent. So we interviewed Santa and Mrs. Claus to see if we could determine what the reason was. Seems he talked to doctors, lawyers, and accountants too, and they told old Santa 'twas the only thing to do. Last year before the Christmas rush, the elves went on the first of many strikes. They had to call on Schwinn and Peugeot for the last 200,000 bikes, which at a cost per unit to a deficit it led. Yes, it's a Christmas color, and Santa's in the red. In all the lawsuits for damaging the roofs, Santa won but lost when he sued for gravel rock damaging the reindeer's hooves. And when there was no chimney and he rifled windowsills, having Bell-Eye for a lawyer runs into heavy legal bills. So Santa Claus, he ain't gonna come to town this year. He's gone into retirement, 'cause of politics, governments, finances, and fear. You might say that old Santa's given Christmas up for Lent. And all the hassle Santa's had about his sleigh not complying with the regulations of the FAA. And you would think because it's only once a year, but God made the air for airplanes, it's not for reindeer. And at the border crossings, although it might sound weird, we don't care who you say you are, 'cause you got a beard. So they searched his reindeer, his sleigh, and his clothes. He's gotta have some in here somewhere. Get that red nose. So Santa Claus, he ain't gonna come to town this year. He's gone into retirement. Politics, governments, finances, and fear. You might say that old Santa's giving Christmas up for Lent. And that little girl you might have read about last year sat upon old Santa's lap and whispered in his ear, and with a twinkle in his eye, if you know what I mean, she got what she wanted for Christmas, but she was only 17. You better watch out, you better not cry, Santa's wanted by the FBI. You know, not too many people know that the 5-string banjo is the only musical instrument ever invented in the United States of America. And I feel that it has been left totally out of the mainstream of music. And that everybody plays a banjo as a hillbilly or whatever. You never hear too many classical pieces with 5-string banjo. You never hear blues bands with 5-string banjo. But how often does Rod Stewart use a 5-string banjo, you know? And I feel it is time to bring 5-string banjo into the mainstream of music. Now remember when blues was blues and jazz was jazz and folk was folk and rock was rock, and they didn't put them together like country rock, country blues rock, country blues rock jazz, country blues rock jazz funk, country blues rock jazz funk, wagnall, boogie, shoot, disco? Well, I feel it's time. I bet you think they've used up all of them, huh? Wrong again. Yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Soul bluegrass. Can't you see them sitting around the pot-bellied stove, banjos, guitars, and mandolins in Detroit, laid off from Chrysler? Anyway, here it is, soul bluegrass. I got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I got the month of May. And I guess you'd say, what can make me feel this way, my girl? Talking about my girl, I got so much honey, bees and vanilla. Got a sweeter song, baby, than the birds in trees. And I guess you'd say, what can make me feel this way, my girl? Talking about my girl, my girl. I don't need money, fortune or fame. I got all the riches, baby, that one man could claim. And I guess you'd say, what can make me feel this way, my girl? Talking about my girl, my girl.
All right, now we're going to get a chance to see what makes Dan Murphy tick, I hope. So, Dan, what have you been doing these last few months? You've been living down in San Diego, right?
Well, yeah, I was up in Tahoe for a while. I was working up at Caesars up there, but most recently, last week, I produced a demo tape for a girl named Laura Burt, writes some really fine songs. And I put a group together, a 6-piece group, but that's for later. Mm-hmm. But this week, if anybody's down in San Diego, can I do a thing?
Sure.
Plug? If anybody's down in San Diego this week, what's this Friday? What is this, the date? Wait, it's this Friday. It's the, second week of December. I'll be opening for Elizabeth Cotten at the International Blend. Elizabeth Cotten wrote Freight Train, which a lot of us know. You know, there was the second song I ever learned on guitar. And then after she gets through playing, she's going to give a dissertation on health and so forth, and I think she's qualified. She's about 96. And then I'll be doing a concert at Drowsy Maggie's on Saturday, which is at 31st and University in San Diego. So if you're down there.
How would you describe your music? Folk punk.
I think it's probably folk punk would be about as close as I could get to.
I think it's entertaining to say the least. From my perspective, anyway. From the times I've been in the audience watching, I've been totally entertained and bewildered at that you can go as long as you can and keep the audience's attention.
It's just I think there's something back in there. The little guys run around inside, and they run down and they bring stuff up, and just like an old Sid Caesar, you never saw that.
When you write a song, especially these novelty songs, I call them novelty songs. They're how do you go about it? What comes to you first? Does it always come out?
Okay, I would say, considering I have at least 5 songs, serious and otherwise, that I got from bumper stickers, that I evidently start with a line.
Yeah, usually what we call a hook in the industry.
A hook, yeah. And so I've written Her Heart Belongs to a Rodeo Man, Lover, Fighter, Wild Bull Rider, something about cowgirls. I forgot the bumper sticker, but I wrote the song. Honk If You Love Jesus, and I think that's about it. But I've written all those songs. So.
I know you did a divorce set too once with the Crazy Horse.
Oh yeah, I did. Several of my friends though have written those songs. It's a pretty easy topic. Right?
Yeah. So what do you plan to do in the future, the immediate future? Where's Dan Murphy trying to go? What's the direction?
Well, I think I probably want to get back to Tahoe. I really enjoy working up there, and I may be doing some openings back east, New York and all different places like this, colleges and so forth.
This song that we're going to be doing next, you're going to be doing next. What do you want to say a little bit about that, and then we'll get back to the stage.
I will. This is, I am almost famous, just like it's all of us to know how it feels to be famous before anybody knows it.
We've had some close calls.
This song is off of my album, and it's the second most requested song on the Dr. Demento show.
Well, let's get right to it.
All right. Right now, I'd like to do a protest song. This, of course, I arrived a little late on the protest song scene, and all the good protests have been taken. So this is a protest song against everything unnatural. No offense to anyone who's into that sort of thing, and the old Portland Storm and all that. Actually, I wrote this tune while coming down off a rancid margarine trip, and I wrote it on the lid. It's not true either. I smoked the lid and wrote it in the margarine. It's a little tune entitled, It's Not Nice to Fool Mother Nature. Well, I got up this morning, found the toaster, put some bread in. Then I went over to the butter compartment and I pulled out some margarine. Now when I get up in the morning, usually feeling pretty down, so it picks me right up, bite into that margarine and get that crown. Da-da-da-da. Sitting there eating my toast and margarine in the world that didn't have a care, when suddenly appears this weird little lady with daisies in her hair. Said she, I hope you're eating my sweet creamy butter after all my toil. I didn't think you're ruining your toast with that unsaturated corn oil. Well, I wasn't eating her butter, and that much I had to admit. When pretty soon this here lady, she just starts having a fit. It was snowing in my living room, it was raining in my den, and I'm here to tell you people I'm never gonna eat margarine again. And it's not nice to fool Mother Nature. That's all I came here to say. And I wish she'd find someone else to pester, or I wish they'd put her away. Well, later on in the afternoon, I was sitting in the bar, telling jokes and impressing the folks my new Glenn Campbell guitar, singing protest songs, doing stuff that all good folk singers do, when I noticed a lady with the daisies sitting there sipping on a brew. Said she, I see her playing a guitar made out of my fine rare wood. Yeah, I knew she'd had a few and she was feeling good, so I said, thank you, Mother Nature, for recognizing class, but this here's an ovation guitar made out of fiberglass. The floods, they started raging as the rain began to come down, and if my guitar hadn't have been so buoyant, I probably would have drowned. It's not nice to fool Mother Nature. That's all I came here to say. Now I wish she'd find someone else to pester, or I wish they'd put her away. Me and can't remember the words to my own song. Well, I come home this evening, kissed my girlfriend on the cheek, and we proceeded on into the bedroom just to make those bed springs squeak. We're really getting it together, and it was getting later at night. And here come the crazy daisy lady, all dressed up in white. She says, I know what you're doing. Now, I don't mind you living in sin, but I got a sneaky suspicion you've been messing with my estrogen. You know, I just couldn't believe it. I thought I was going to be ill, but I sat up there and admitted, yeah, my baby was taking a pill. Well, the hail had started falling as the north wind began to come, with me and my baby sitting there singing, I got rhythm. And it's not nice, fool, Mother Nature. That's all I came here to say. And I wish she'd find someone else to pester, or I wish they'd put her away. Me and my friends are getting loaded. We're really having a ball. We're smoking, snorting, dropping, and staring at the wall. Our minds are being expanded. They were expanding all over the room. But here come that Daisy chick, man, flying in on a broom. I'm in love with the marijuana, she says. She takes a hit from the pipe, and her eyes begin to sparkle, and I knew she was feeling ripe. But that we were smoking wasn't her natural tea. My friend works in a chemical plant, was his THC. She was pulling out a warrant as the room began to get dark. Now who in the world would have believed Mother Nature was a narc? And it's not nice, fool, Mother Nature. That's all I came here to say. And I guess she's found someone else to pester ever since they put me away.
Well, that's going to do it for this show this week. I'd like to extend special appreciative thanks to our guest this week, Dan Murphy. Thank you, Dan. And our crew out here. We'd like to also hope you had a very good Thanksgiving. I had a great one. Anyway, we'll be seeing you all next week on Soon to Be Famous.
Well, I've been playing nightclubs now for close to 15 years. I've played them all, both big and small, working for tips and beers. Well, I finally think I've paid my dues, and I guess it's safe to say that one of these days soon I'll be doing things my way. 'Cause I'm soon to be famous, top of the heap. Soon to be famous,
My autograph's still cheap.
soon to be famous. You don't know me yet. I'm an up-and-coming superstar that you haven't met, and I'm soon to be famous. Soon to be famous. Soon to